Hello my friends. So I've just been editing the video that you are currently watching, and I realised that how I had originally planned to present this video to you was not going to work. I have filmed this video over the course of about 2 months actually. And I was going to show you the process of picking the paint colours and decorating the dining room and the kitchen. Now, in true me fashion, I have slightly warbled on too long about certain things in order to put those two videos together in one. So I'm actually splitting them. So we're going to do the dining room and then the kitchen separately. Otherwise, basically this video would be about an hour long. And whilst I'm sure, I'm very grateful that you're here, I'm not sure you want to watch an hour long video at this point. So I am actually going to cut back to current day and give you a little bit of context as to what is happening throughout this video. It's only going to happen a couple of times. Hopefully it shouldn't be too annoying, but I wanted to just update you and let you know what is actually happening in the clips you're then about to see. We start the video with picking out the colour of the dining room, and I sort of came up with, I haven't seen anybody else do this, so I'm going to take full credit for it, but I came up with a bit of a sneaky way of cutting down the colours, because when you open that colour card it's incredibly overwhelming. So yes, this is me trying to whittle down the colours for our lovely dining room. Okay, I just thought I would show you this because I am finding it so helpful. So I ordered the new Farrow and Ball colour card, which meant that I had the old one, which they still sell all these shades. There's just a few new ones, none of which I think I'm going to use actually in here. But, I've cut out all of the colours and basically I've been whittling them down. This has been so useful because I spread all of the colours out, and now obviously, there's an overwhelming number, but actually when you look at them a little bit more in isolation, and also it helps that you can then carry these little bits around your house, but if you look at them a little bit more in isolation, you start really picking out what your overall house colour scheme is going to be. Can you tell what I'm thinking? Now, this is just for the kitchen. Everything's still a tip. And then dining room here, and then obviously our living room there, complete with sleeping golden retriever. So what I'm thinking for the kitchen is a blue, because it's such a lovely light warm kind of room, and I just think that blue could look really, really lovely in there. And in here we're gonna go green. I'd kept these ones basically, and to be honest, okay, there's a couple more in here. I've kept a couple of the stronger, more accent colours that I just really, really enjoyed, because I wanted to kind of think about that. I just love this yellow so much. So I'm trying to think of a place to use that. I'm keeping these kind of to keep track of what the bolder, more accenty colours could be. Now, probably in terms of cushions, pictures, that kind of thing. So I'm keeping them there. I'm gonna take them out now, however, because they are slightly off-putting, because they are drawing my eye a little bit too much. Actually, I'm gonna take these two out as well, because these are potential bathroom colours, but equally they're not pink enough. I don't think, even though that one says pink, like it's not pink. It's the same kind of colour as it looks on camera, to be honest. So these are my favourite so far, blues and greens. Now this is just from Farrow and Ball. Now to some people this may seem insane, but I have the little green one. I have Dulux Heritage, another little green. Oh, I've got the coat paints as well. I think I'm going to use one of these paints for a hallway plan that I will tell you about another time. We're not thinking about that now. But these are my favourite Farrow and Ball ones. Now I am going to cut these down. So even just looking at them here, I'm like, that one can probably go, because it's just a bit too cool toned. This one I think is too saturated. I don't love a bright colour. It's just not what is visually appealing to me, but I do like colour, but I like it to be soft. These are probably my two favourite blues for the kitchen, just because it's not a huge amount of wall space that you're going to see. It's just the bit kind of in between the cabinets. So yeah, and I mean, once that's gone and that's gone, you know, but we'll get there. Anyway, but just in case this was helpful to anyone, I have absolutely loved doing this, and I'm resisting the temptation to chop up all of these. Just because I think whilst this is helpful, I have to say there are some beautiful colours in this National Trust kind of collaboration that they did. There are some beautiful colours in here, but I may cut them all up as well and just add them to this so that I can properly see them side by side. Yeah, the more I look at that one, I really liked it. Again, on camera, there's no point looking through the camera. But yes, anyway, just in case anybody else is getting overwhelmed with colour choices, just start doing this and trust your choices. And this is, you know, this is half of the greens and blues that they do. So doing this has been super helpful, and it's really helped me start to understand the colour tones that basically the whole house is going to be in eventually. But the other reason that cutting them out like this is super helpful is because you can start to look at what colours will go together. So for example, these colours look lovely, but if you were to put these together, oh, actually that's a bad example, they look quite good. Let's see which one. Okay, I don't think, yeah, okay, so see, that just doesn't quite, they don't merge together is the wrong word, but they don't play well together. And you can see that so much more easily when you're against quite a neutral background. You can see them individually. So that's the other reason doing this is super helpful. So just before I crack into these two, very excitingly, but I wanted to give this company a little bit of a shout out, because this is not sponsored or anything. This is Farrow and Ball paint in here, which you will see when I open it up. Super excited. But these guys were by far the cheapest that I found, and they have a like 5% off first time ordering deal. Turn you around and actually speak to you. Also, please forgive, the hair is still dry. I will have them linked in the description box, but they were by far the cheapest I found for Farrow and Ball, and they had the full range. So we've gone for flat, like the matte, what are they called, flat matte or whatever they call it. We'll find out when we open it. We went for that finish because old house, wonky walls, matte paint doesn't show up imperfections quite so easily. But they had the full range of everything on there, and like I say, by far the cheapest, best delivery. I ordered this yesterday afternoon, and number one, it's already here. Number two, it was shipped within half an hour of me ordering it, which is pretty impressive. So if you are looking for paint and you need it kind of now, then yeah, they're really good. So yeah, let's crack into it. Oh, I'm so excited. Here we go, dead flat. That was what I was trying to remember. So I've gone for the 5 litres, and then this is the 2.5, I think, yes, 2.5. So we've got Vert de Terre, which is going to be the colour that we're going to use on the bottom here, and then the walls in the living room. And then we've got Pointing, which is basically the white that they recommend using along with it. And I was like, that's fine, happy to trust the experts. And that's going to go on the upper half of this wall and the ceilings. So we're going to see if this is going to be enough. I have a feeling may have needed this much as well, but to be honest, I just didn't want to have paint left over, because I know that I can get this from B&Q if needed. So if I need to run out, I'll buy more. But then, to be honest, I might just order from these guys again, because, like I say, it was so quick. I'm so excited. I can't believe it's here. I just want to open it up now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be restrained. But I'm coming back for you. Okay. Please forgive if you can hear the Classic FM in the background. That's for this one. I've just been caulking, hence the gloves. But yes, she doesn't love us decorating. She just gets a bit like, what are you doing? Anyway, so Classic FM helps keep her calm. But let me show you where we're up to in the dining room. Full disclosure, it's a week since I started filming this vlog. So Tom took the whole week off work last week, as did I pretty much, until Saturday. And I did do a cheeky day. But we knew this was going to take a while, because basically we didn't know what was going to be under the paint in here. We suspected, well, so there was paper. We knew there were several layers of paper. There was paint. and we didn't know what condition the wall was going to be in when we took all of that off. So it's been a mixed bag. I'll show you where we're at. This is the wall that's been the trickiest. Apologies for the lighting. This is quite a dim light bulb, so we'll have to deal. But basically this had 6 layers, I think, of paper on it in the end, and we discovered for why. Now you may be thinking, why have you stripped this back to the plaster, but you haven't stripped this? Because this is a sealed up door. So if you come around here, that is where the door to the understairs cupboard is now, and obviously it used to be here. And they hadn't filled it in especially well. So I have done my best to basically smooth out the edge because it was raised by about that much from the wall. It's not going to be perfect. If you look hard, you'll probably still be able to see where it was, but it's smooth. It's all perfectly smooth. Any of these little things, that's just the paint. I'm quite proud of how smooth this graduation is. It feels quite nice. Anyway, so done all of that, and then I have spent the last day basically caulking up all of the edges, all around here, all up here, all around the doors. It's been a thing. Now my job is to prime the walls, because you can just see like there's bits where and you can see it worse here. Like I don't want to have to try and strip off this paint, but equally obviously the colour differentiation between the plaster and the paint is quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is prime all of the walls, and then we can get started on the paint, which is down there, because we are using Farrow & Ball in this room, and I know that Farrow & Ball has a very mixed reputation, but it was just the colour, it was the right colour, and I just think Farrow & Ball has this quality to it of changing with the light that I think is going to work really, really well in here, because this room doesn't get direct sunlight ever, but it's very long, but it does get quite a lot of varied light throughout the day, and I just think paint that reacts to that will be the best. I'm trying to convince myself that I haven't burnt, that I've just a bit warm. I just had my lunch, but this is, oh my goodness, what is going on? You've seen me glamorous lots of other times, okay? Right, so we've got to the point now where I have primed everything, and it's time to actually start painting, which is very, very exciting. But I'm also slightly terrified because we're using Farrow & Ball paint, I think I've said, in this room. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Farrow & Ball paint. Some are like, best paint I ever used, went on like a dream, 0 issues. Other people are like, you must only paint between the hours of 11 and 12:03, and it must be under the full moon, and you mustn't breathe at it. Don't look at it. Don't look it in the eye. Otherwise, it won't dry right. It's like there's no in between. Okay, so I'm slightly scared, but I'm gonna start with the ceiling. Then what's this bit called? Anybody know? Anyway, and then obviously the picture rail. And then this wall is going to be in the white. I think we've got weathered. I think that's what it's called. No, pointing. It's not that at all. So we're using that for the walls and the ceiling. And then I've got Vert to Terre for the bottom. If this doesn't sum up DIY life, I don't know what does. Anyway, fingers crossed this goes on easily. Okay, so at this point in proceedings, I completely forgot to film a clip of the white having gone on, pointing, having gone on the walls. And I will say this about Farrow & Ball paint. Obviously, I'm using the dead flat, and I think that is easier to work with because it's very forgiving. But I found it incredibly easy to work with. I don't know what everyone was going on about. Quite frankly, I did the cutting in and then left it a bit, had my lunch, did the rollering afterwards, didn't have any issues. I just think, it's fine. I wonder if Farrow & Ball did go through a bit of a dodgy patch and now they've sorted out their issues, but people are remembering the dodgy patch. I don't know. But the pointing went on super easily. I did have to buy another tin of that. And then the Vert to Terre went on like a dream. I did 2 coats and that was absolutely fine. And I will say I'm actually going to end up with too much Vert Terre paint. So I would say with Farrow, if you are buying one of the neutrals, the light colours, then you probably need more paint than you think. And when you're buying one of the darker colours, you probably need less paint than you think. That's my experience so far of it. Anyway, I could have bought a small tin of the Vert de Terre and a big tin of the pointing. I should have just swapped them around. So we live and we learn. But yes, everything went on like an absolute dream, and here are the results. It's a very exciting moment. I have finished the dining room. Mummy, you got up. This must mean that we're going outside. No, sweetie, we're staying inside. This is her favourite thing to do, is to just carry socks around. These are clean and everything. You just love the socks, don't you? Look, they've even got you on them. Is that why you like these ones? These are my golden retriever socks Tom got me for Christmas. She's like, no, Mummy, you can look, but you can't touch. Anyway, distracting golden retriever aside, this is the finished. Obviously there is nothing on the walls, and we are going to be changing the plug sockets at some point. That is not high on the priority list, if I'm being honest, but this is the beautiful combination we've gone to. So it's Vert de Terre on the bottom, and then it's pointing on the top. And now I will confess that I was a little skeptical about whether it was worth, going for the colour that they pair with it, or if we should just go white. It's so worth it. This is a beautiful combination. It's so fresh. Obviously on here it's looking a bit grey because phone camera quality. Oh, are you sleeping, my love? Have you had a hard day? Oh, yes. Good girl. But actually these go so perfectly, and you can kind of see like the stark white against against this creamy. This is not the one now, but I absolutely love it. I think it looks gorgeous, especially when these floors are back to their not disgusting carpet, but beautiful wooden floor glory. This against that, kind of gives you a good idea. It's just going to be beautiful. I'm so excited. And I have painted the radiator, which is controversial, I know. It's just up on here because I need help putting it back on there, because this is a proper heavy radiator. I can't lift this by myself. So yes, it's gonna stay there, isn't it, until the weekend when we can pop it back up. But because I used Farrow and Ball Dead Flat, it's an all-purpose paint, so you can paint the radiators, and this has made it look absolutely brand new, because I was thinking we might have to buy a new radiator, but now we're not going to. But this, you may see, is a rather exciting delivery, and whilst we unpack this, first of all, let's have a little bit of appreciation for this packaging. Absolutely stunning. And a little bit of a spoiler of what's in here. But let's sit down, unbox this, and have a quick chat, because I want to talk paints. So in this very beautiful box, I have to say, is an enormous tin of little green celestial blue. And now this is part of their National Trust collection. This is not sponsored, by the way. None of this video is sponsored, Little Green or Farrow Ball. If you want to get in touch, I'm all ears. But this is a beautiful kind of yellowy toned blue, which is going to be going in the kitchen. And this goes beautifully with the Farrow and Ball Vert de Terre. It's obviously in the dining room, and it's also going to be in the living room as well, is the plan. Although I'm a little bit scared that it's going to be a bit dark in here once it's done, but then it's also a lovely fresh colour. I think it's going to be fine. But the reason I wanted to have a little chat with you, because something has been, it sounds like you're in trouble, doesn't it? You're not in trouble. The thing I wanted to talk about was the subject of getting paints colour matched. Now, I fully appreciate that paint is really expensive, okay? We have pushed projects back that we want to get done on the house so that we could afford to buy this paint, okay? I don't want to make out like we've just nipped down the shops and spent over £200 on paint for one big room and another room. Like, it's a lot, okay? So I do want to preface that. But I have a slight moral objection to getting paints like these colour matched in a cheaper formula of paint. I'm fighting my fellow creatives corner on this one because it is somebody's job to come up with these colours. They're not done on a computer. It is somebody's job and profession and expertise to mix colours together very specifically in a very specific formula in order to get the exact colour and finish that you see on your wall. So what it actually means when you take a sample, say you take your sample of little green, my goodness, this thing is heavy. You take your sample of little green, celestial blue, down to your local, paint mixing station, and naming no names, and you get it matched. The person who actually created this colour doesn't see any of that money, other than the sample that you bought, obviously, but they don't see any of that money. So their work is kind of being ripped off, really. And it's the same thing like when you go on Etsy and you can buy, a print for £10 of somebody's art. They don't get any of that money. It's stealing, really, at the end of the day. And I know that sounds really, really strong, but that is what it is. And I know it's a legal form of stealing. I know it's legal to do. And obviously, if you've painted most of your room and then they don't stock that paint anymore and you need to touch up, then obviously there are times when it's necessary, quite frankly. But for me, if you're not wanting to put so much of your budget into the paint on the wall, that's absolutely fine, okay? I am a bit of how shall I describe it? I'm incredibly picky with these kinds of details. I really, really, truly believe that you can see the difference. I think the quality of paint that you buy comes off on the walls. If you're wanting the colour, if you're wanting celestial blue, if you're wanting Vert to Terre, buy those colours. Because the thing is that the other paint brands, Dulux is the one that's obviously coming to mind, but there are infinite paint brands now. They have beautiful colours of their own, which again, the same thing applies to with these. Somebody has gone and created that colour. So they have wonderful colours. We're going to use a beautiful Dulux colour in our study. I'm choosing that colour over the Farrow and Ball ones or the little green, because I prefer it. So I'm not saying that, I will only paint my house in Farrow and Ball. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that because Farrow and Ball are the ones that have created the colour that I've chosen, I'm going to buy it from them. Does that make sense? I know this is a little bit of a rant, and I know it's a contentious subject because paint is so expensive. I think it's overpriced. I do. Paint in general is overpriced. Not just the expensive paints. I think it's all very expensive. But then equally, I don't know what goes into producing these things other than the creative side. I know more about that. It's more my industry, if you like. So I'm a bit nervous to put this one out there because I do know that this will ruffle some feathers, just in terms of, like I say, it's where you choose to invest your money or spend your money. This is where I like to do it, and for other people, it will be in their furniture or be in the artwork, whatever. It's absolutely fine. I just think in a society that doesn't value the arts, get on my high horse with that one, we are not encouraged to pursue artistic careers because people don't see them as having any money in it. Number one, that's complete rubbish. I like to think I'm living proof of that. But number two, the reason that it is hard, because it is hard to make money in artistic pursuits, is because of things like big companies stealing people's work. It's a big problem. And I just think when we do things like getting paints colour matched, we are feeding into that. And like I say, this is just my opinion. If that is what you've chosen to do, I'm not judging you at all. I think I would have done that before I really thought it through and came to my standpoint on it. I really hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments below, do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? That's totally fine. Just please say it kindly. I'm excited to be using these beautiful colours in my home. I feel very, very lucky to be doing so, and I don't want to take that for granted for a single second. I'm just going to start repeating myself if I warble on any longer, but I hope that makes sense. I hope you can appreciate where I'm coming from with that, and I just wanted to, you know, explain really why we have chosen to, you know, put our money where we have. Because I really believe it's important, and I want to put my money where my mouth is. So, enough of that. I need to crack on with, well, getting this on the walls, quite frankly. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, apologies for it being a little bit patchwork and for me just popping up and interrupting your video every now and again. But if you have enjoyed it, please do subscribe to my channel, because I am going to be doing more of these videos. I've really enjoyed making them. And even just editing this, I'm like, the house has come so far. I think when you're doing renovations, it can just feel like a never-ending to-do list, because it is a never-ending to-do list. And you're constantly having to update what you're needing to get and shift things around in terms of the timeline. And so it's really fun to actually see where you started and now where you are. It's much easier to measure the progress. So please do come along for the journey. It's going to be a fun one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.